Response generation chain for Hugging GPT within LangChain's autonomous agents is a chain used for generating responses using a Hugging GPT model. NaN. Definition: the response generation chain is a chain that utilizes a Hugging GPT model to generate responses. It can be used within LangChain's autonomous agents for advanced response generation. For example, it could be used to generate summaries of factual topics, creative text formats, or code snippets. Components. Component 1. The LLM chain is used to process the input and generate a response. This response is then passed to the Hugging GPT model for further processing and generation of the final response. Component 2. The Hugging GPT model is a powerful tool that can be used for a variety of tasks, such as text generation, translation, and summarization. It uses a variety of techniques to generate responses, including a transformer-based neural network. This model is particularly well suited for generating responses that are both accurate and creative. Architecture. The response generation chain utilizes an LLM chain to process the input and generate a response. The response is then passed to the Hugging GPT model for further processing and generation of the final response. The Hugging GPT model enhances the response by leveraging its advanced capabilities in natural language processing. Role. The response generation chain is responsible for generating responses based on the provided input and using the Hugging GPT model for refining the response. It acts as an intermediary between the user's input and the Hugging GPT model, ensuring that the final response is comprehensive and relevant to the input. Advantages. Advantage 1. The response generation chain leverages the capabilities of the Hugging GPT model for advanced response generation. Hugging's capabilities in natural language processing, including text generation, translation, and summarization, allow for high-quality responses that are tailored to the specific input. Advantage 2. The response generation chain provides a streamlined approach for using the Hugging GPT model within autonomous agents. This simplifies the integration of the Hugging GPT model into existing agents, allowing for efficient response generation without requiring complex configurations. Challenges. Challenge 1. The response generation chain requires careful configuration of the Hugging GPT model to ensure appropriate response generation. The model's parameters and settings need to be carefully chosen to ensure that the generated responses are relevant and accurate. For example, if the Hugging GPT model is used to generate creative text formats, the parameters need to be configured to generate text that is grammatically correct and makes sense. Challenge 2. The response generation chain may encounter challenges in handling complex or ambiguous inputs. For example, if the user input is vague or unclear, the Hugging GPT model may generate a response that is irrelevant or incomplete. To address this challenge, the response generation chain can be designed to include mechanisms for clarifying ambiguous inputs or providing feedback to the user if the input is unclear.